Hello. You're listening to Questboard, a podcast where we make up random side quests. My name is Brandon.
And I'm Tiffany. And just so you know, we are not professional writers in any way, shape, or form. At least we don't claim to be. We just really like tabletop RPGs, and we do this for fun.
That's right. And you know, we will always, at least me, will always use up our campaign that we've been playing as banter filler. So that I don't have to think of what to talk about for every 2 weeks.
Well, I'm sure people like hearing, what happened in the last session. What sort of googly moogly did we encounter?
We make these things isolated, so...
Yeah, true. And it just means they have to go back and find all the episodes with our updates.
You mean just go back every 2 episodes?
Roundabout.
About, yeah. Yeah, so I had you guys go against a doctor.
A doctor. Yep. Just a doctor.
He was an actual doctor.
He was an actual doctor, and he was just a doctor.
So someone couldn't make it.
Yeah.
And so I reserve all rights to do whatever to your character. I won't kill them.
Mm-hmm.
But I will use them as bait or plot devices or any fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And so the previous session, I realized, I almost killed that character.
Yeah,
and so I thought
died.
that was a great hook just to be like, okay, he's developing a fever. He's really unwell.
Mm-hmm.
You should go visit the doctor. And the doctor was a somewhat idea I had that was like in the back burners, but I had to rush it or like
it didn't
develop him
feel
faster.
Rushed.
I had to develop him faster. I'm like, okay, this will be. I queued him to the front of the line of what possible monsters to have you guys go against.
Nice.
And so you guys took him to the doctor, and he's like, oh yeah, we'll just have to like watch him overnight because of fever breakout or anything like that. Don't worry. And it was just a small clinic kind of thing. And there was plenty of other beds with people resting over incubation. I don't know the medical term.
I don't think it's incubation.
Isolation, not really, but just a long-term kind of thing to spend the night and to be monitored.
Yeah. And
the only one player went down
to
help carry the family member to the bed and noticed a bunch of missing limbs on most of the patients that was there, which funny enough, she asked about it.
Yeah.
And I came up with the best like excuse in the moment that made the total, like the most amount of sense. And I did not think about that beforehand, which was, oh yeah, farming equipment can tear off your limbs.
This is fact. Careful around that stuff, guys.
And it was like, as I was like spewing that information, I'm like, this is the best excuse ever. They're not get questioned that hard.
Nope, not at all.
Until you guys left and all that stuff, and you're like, oh, let's go to the arcade.
Yeah, it's like it's a farming like community. Yeah. Accidents happen. Farming equipment is terrifying. It will flat up rip your arms off. I've literally seen a story.
Oh, I've heard plenty of stories
about a guy
that,
who got his arms ripped off. They put him back on though.
I got better.
I got better.
So you guys go to the arcade and all that stuff. I'm like, well, I have to. They were already uneasy. Yeah. Oh, also there was that bit about the Sweeney Todd bit.
Oh yeah.
Where I think it was you that's like, oh, they eat people or something.
I think it was Hannah.
Just made that reference. I'm like, okay, let's do a little red herring. There's a meat shop right next to the clinic.
Was it a meat shop or was it like a
meat pie shop?
Meat pie shop, yeah.
It was purely Sweeney Todd.
Oh yeah.
Where I was like, yeah, there's a meat pie shop right next door. You guys never went in there.
I've never actually seen that movie.
You never seen that movie?
No.
You know the story of Sweeney Todd though.
I'm aware of the context of it, yes.
Watch the Johnny Depp one if you have time.
Wait, there's more than one?
Yeah, there's a more modern one made within, I want to say, last 10, 15 years.
That's the one I was aware of.
I'm pretty sure there's like an old one, like 50s or 60s version.
I was not aware that existed.
I think.
Okay. I was aware of the Johnny Depp one.
Yeah. But anyways, I just kept making that joke throughout this session.
Yeah.
And no one fell for it, so I was like, okay.
Yeah, okay. Because we were all just like, yeah,
because I was making it too obvious.
It's like, it's too obvious. No, that's not it.
And so at the arcade, I'm like, well, okay, I am planned on having you guys encounter someone that is also missing a limb.
I think my character actually ended up getting a meat pie.
At a different diner.
Yeah, it sounded good though.
But I was like, okay, the person has to lose a limb for a dumb, small reason
Mhm.
so that you guys could be like, okay, I'm worried.
Okay, that's
You
not a
were
reason.
already worried beforehand,
We were worried. Our brother was sick.
but you guys didn't trust the doctor because I was overly describing the scene and the doctor.
Yeah.
A little meta knowledge.
Yeah.
But anyways, then you're like, oh God, we have to save our brother.
Well, we found out that someone else was missing a limb because he had a cut on his finger,
No, it was like the back of his hand.
a
or
back of his
something.
hand, like a minor cut.
Yeah, something that wouldn't warrant a amputation of the whole arm.
Right. And he had it amputated 2 days ago.
Yeah, it was like miraculously healed. I was like, okay, I have to add in some like
Yeah.
weird supernatural thing because I knew that he was going to be able to cut your guys' arms in mid-fight.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it has to heal perfectly.
Right. I was like, well, that ain't possible. Something's up.
And then you guys thought of the get well soon card.
Yep. Reason to sneak back in.
Yeah. And then you guys came across a, like someone was just walking down the street with crutches and missing a leg.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh God, this is real serious. This is the point. I remember specifically. This is the point where you guys are like, okay, there's one right arm missing, one left leg missing.
We started tracking.
You start counting and tracking.
Because we thought we were dealing with Dr. Frankenstein, who was building a monster.
So funny enough about that, and I'll come back to this point, but you guys infiltrate, so go back, see your family member, your brother or cousin. You take account for the other people, and I stated, oh yeah, there was 2 left arms missing, a right arm missing, and a right leg missing, or something like that from the other patients. And you're like, okay, and then you count that. And then you implant like a walkie-talkie so you could listen in and all that stuff. Then you decide to break in after closing. And so the bit with this monster is he cuts people's limbs off and then he attaches it to his own body.
Yeah, we didn't realize that part.
So it's very inspired by an Elden Ring boss, Godric the Grafted, but he was way more grotesque than what I did.
Actually, I need to look up a picture of that. I haven't still, and I'm curious. Oh my. Oh dear.
Yeah, he's like very hulking and all that stuff.
Gross. Yeah, that's...
His second phase in the fight is where he chops off his arm and he attaches a dead dragon head to it.
fascinating.
Yeah. Anyways, he was my inspiration on that one.
Yep.
He wanted to be a Elden Lord, and so he thought grafting more limbs would make him more powerful.
Someone made a mini fig, like D&D style, of him with the dragon head.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, I found some fan art too.
Anyways,
Gross.
so when you guys first encountered him down in that like lower cellar area where all the patients were sleeping and all that stuff, he was leaving your brother's section off bed area and all that stuff, and you guys initiate combat, and then that's when you found out you had eight limbs, 8 arms.
Yeah.
And they're all attached like...
That means 10 limbs, so he wasn't technically an octopus.
No, actually, it was 4 on each side, including his own.
Yeah, 4 arms on each side.
Yeah.
He still had legs.
Oh, yeah, 10 limbs in total. They were all attached like very much like clay.
Yeah.
Like that kind of texture and like blobby or...
Yeah, you described that really well.
Thank you. The thing that you guys didn't realize, and I did this when you started counting, and I didn't plan on that. And so I was like, oh, let me do this as a little fun little hint if you guys actually paid attention afterwards. Because you thought Frankenstein. But the way I described where those random limbs you counted, that was his limbs or his arms.
Yeah.
Plus 2 left arms and plus 2 right arms. But he had 4 because he just took 2 from your brother.
Yep. We didn't realize
and you
that.
guys didn't realize that. And he just left your brother's bed. And so I was like, oh, this will be a cool thing if they actually did the math. Like, wait, why does he have 2 extra than what we counted? And he just left your brother's bed, but you guys never realized that.
Nope. Until later when you made a comment.
Well, I had to because you guys were attacking his arms as well. And I was like, oh, this will cause him to really halt and all that stuff. If I was like, okay, this is how I'm going to reveal your brother's arms is where I grabbed one of the characters by the throat.
Yeah.
And I think it was your character's like, let go of my sister. And then I had the guy says, what do you mean your brother's holding your sister?
Yeah. It's just like, what? No.
And then I'm like, his arm looks kind of familiar.
No. At one point, he did manage to chop off our cousin's arm and attach it to himself. So he had 5 on one side.
Yeah, because you guys were not rolling bad. So I was like, I want to at least do this mechanic once.
It was good. No, it was really good.
Then the entire rest of the fight was that character constantly trying to cut off back his arm.
Yeah. He was like, give me back my arm, miss.
And yeah, it got like, you guys got the scalpel that was capable of doing this and trying to get back the arm. And then you guys were just somewhat attacking him and all that stuff.
I had a gun.
Yeah.
I accidentally shot my cousin.
Yeah, at the very end, you accidentally shot your cousin for a lot of damage.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, it was a very simple monster. I didn't develop a weakness for him, so I thought shoot him until he dies or stab him until he dies. It's supposed to be just a real easy kind of thing.
Well, like, essentially, the base form of this, air quotes here, monster is just a dude.
Yeah, I initially made him a
human.
psycho that wanted to graft things.
Yeah, this is a human that found a magic scalpel and started living his dream of having more limbs.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But, more limbs equals creepy. So I thought that would be great. I've talked to a coworker of mine that I tell her a lot of my ideas and all that stuff. And when I brought up that idea, she told me something that I'm like, oh, I didn't anticipate that. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And luckily, you guys never did. Which was, when you got the scalpel, what happens if you cut his head off with it? And I'm like, I have no idea.
Didn't think about that.
Yeah, thankfully. Because the person who got the scalpel just wanted their arm back.
Yeah.
And eventually just killed him before he even got the arm back.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have to cross that bridge. But it was a very interesting point that I never thought of as a possibility.
No more head for you. With the way the scalpel would work, I could see the head and the body both still functioning, both still being alive.
I think I would have done it where they were both alive, but the body, anytime the body attacked, it would have been like a minus to it. Not exactly I roll for it, but probably where I would give you guys a +1, but only for the failure condition.
Yeah.
So now instead of 7 through 9 being a partial, it's 8 and 9 being a partial. Or no. 6, 7, 8, 9 be a partial. And I think I would have done it that way because it wouldn't have been able to attack much.
Well, you have to keep in mind, it just lost almost all of its senses. All it has is touch.
Thankfully, I didn't cross this bridge.
Right.
It would have been hard.
It just makes me think of, I can't remember what movie it is or if it's various movies where some form of undead character gets their head cut off and they're trying to talk their body into finding their head. Like, no, I'm over here. No,
yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't put my finger on where that's from. I feel
like it happens a lot. But that's just what I was thinking about. Like, it's like, get over here and pick me up. No.
Down in the comments.
Yeah.
Let us know down in the comments.
Where have you seen this trope, I guess?
I'm going to be pissed when I read the comment that's like, oh, it's that show. It's on the tip of my tongue. Like, I feel like I should know it. Like, really know it.
I'm pretty sure it did happen in Hocus Pocus.
No, I'm thinking of an actual cartoon.
Yes, but Billy Bones couldn't actually say anything because his mouth was sewn shut. So it was one of the, I think it was Winifred that was saying, your head's over there. Go, this way. No, your other left, like, kind of situation. And then he puts it back on and...
Anyways.
I think he wanted to give her the finger at that point.
So this is a long banter.
Yes, it is.
So I just wanted to give an update about our campaign. It was a very interesting one, and I'm glad I did that. And I'm an amazing game master, and I am a creative genius. Anyways, back to our podcast.
Way to pat yourself on the back there. All right, let's roll for this thing.
Yeah, you got those?
Oh, I got them. In an amazing turn of events, I have once again rolled a 2.
Okay, so I guess we have to go up because 1 we already did.
Yeah.
This is back to back too.
Yeah.
This is even more.
That's why it's an amazing turn of events.
Well, we already did 1. So
let's go up.
We have to go up. Which 3 we already did, episode 56. This is Chicken Wrangler Needed. That was Phase Chickens.
Yes.
And so number 4.
Which, oddly enough, is the one I accidentally glanced at earlier and started thinking about.
Oh my god. So you cheated. Okay.
Only a little bit.
Need men to form a small honor garrison for the banquet I'm holding in my manor. Important people are involved. No discretion is discretion is mandatory. 200 gold pieces per person. Pay up front. No questions asked. And then the parentheses we ignore.
Yep.
So an honor garrison for banquets. This seems like a boring job though.
Really does. Stand there and look imposing.
Yes.
So what's the twist? Like I
We
said, I
always
only
have to have a twist.
started thinking about
What
stuff.
was your initial thought then?
Well, I saw the parentheses first and realized, oh, I need to ignore that. So they're not all vampires. And so I'm like, okay, what if this is like a secret cult meeting or some sort of like, not cult, but like, you know, that group of people who are all stupid rich and meet together and try to decide the fates of the world. I don't know what to call that.
The Freemasons?
Sure.
The Illuminati?
Yeah, I mean, like a Freemason or Illuminati type gathering. And the player characters are being paid to keep that hush hush.
I thought we like to do Goofy, right?
Goofy is always fun.
Goofy's kind of, but I don't know how we would add to this. But what happens if like it acts like a cult where it's super secretive? People are wearing the masquerade mask, hide their identities.
They're all wearing animal heads.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they sit around the table. And then they gush about the heroes, not realizing it's the party. Where it's like, it's a fan club.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Where it's like, oh my, like half of them are like, if there's multiple women in the party, then there's a small like feud between two factions of who's hotter or who's like.
Okay, so this definitely has to
queen.
be like later on after your party has gotten well known. How the heck does the person hiring them not realize who they're hiring?
I think it is you know where if you have a manor and all that stuff. Oh, I'm the owner of the manor. Tiff, hire some help. Hire some guards and all that stuff.
Gotcha. I'm the butler.
You're the butler. You are the just an employee that's like, I'm tasking you for the honor guard. And then everyone needs to do the whole masquerade thing. And so then the guards are even have a uniform masquerade like look to them.
I was assuming that.
And so then they don't even know.
Nice. Okay. I like this so much, but that's it?
That's the problem.
Yeah.
How do we add upon that? I mean, this episode could just be, hey, our Monster of the Week campaign update.
Pretty much. Okay, so the characters are hired for a super secret meeting. Discretion is mandatory. You must wear these masks, these uniforms, keep your identity concealed, but also you are there to guard the safety of all of the participants.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they need guards for a fan club?
Well,
because some of the disputes get heated?
It's either that or because this is your fan club. You have enemies where it's villains.
Oh.
Then they're worried that they're like, if their villains find out we're meeting for this fan club gushing session,
I guess,
then they might come after us.
Okay, so it's just a rich person being rich. And
sort of.
Misinterpreting, they have enemies. They're definitely going to come after us if we're fans, so we need guards.
Or it could just be the one person that's rich and everyone else, like...
I was talking about the one person being rich, but is...
Or do they just rent out the manor for this one?
No, I feel like at least one of them needs to be the rich person, and they're sponsoring this fan club. Just so they have friends who come over and hang out and talk about things they like.
Yeah, yeah. What happens if the owner of the manor is just someone on the really young side?
I was just thinking it was like immature their child. Like the parents are, the own manor. This is their kid.
What happens if the owner is a kid whose parents died and inherited the manor and all that stuff?
And that could even...
And that's why they're so lonely and want like this group together kind of thing.
That could even have stemmed from something the heroes did. Like the parents were killed by the BBEG.
Yeah.
Big bad evil guy for those of you who don't know. And the heroes rescued him or her.
Or avenged.
Or avenged, yeah. And so fan club ensues.
Yes.
And the fans need to have like almost intimate knowledge of the characters that is slightly off.
No, okay, you're going last Avatar route. I
I
see where
am.
you're going.
It's Ember Island players. It is.
But
It totally
no,
is.
I'm thinking otaku idol fans.
Oh, okay. We're going that route.
Where it's just like, it's not off-putting information. They know they're like
They
weird
know
detail
the
information.
facts.
Like, there might be, depending on the comfort level of your party.
Right.
But like, what happens if some of them are arguing about bus size about one member?
Oh gosh, yes.
You know, like that kind of obsession,
Yeah.
otaku idol worshippers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're like, "Oh no, she's definitely a 36.
If your party is okay with it, it'll be really funny if it's like creepy obsessive fans.
Yeah.
Because that's funnier, because then there's like, I can't reveal myself, or I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Okay, we don't have much to add though.
Here we go. I got something. Halfway through the meeting, a rival fan club decides to essentially prank them, but it's a little bit more destructive in a way. I don't know exactly how, but it's like it's not a nice prank. And they're the fan club of the BBEG. And it's run by the sibling of the rich kid. So they were actually holding their meeting in another room of the manor.
I don't know about that one. It could be a rival fan club of a different heroic party.
Or rival fan club of the same heroic party that has different views on them.
Okay, if we want to split off what we said earlier, what happens if this fan club is sadly, it's always women, and it seems very misogynistic, but if there's two women in the party, this one is a big fan of one of the women, and then the rival one is a big fan of the other woman.
So the insert player character name here, worship club.
Yeah, in which they're a big fan of the entire thing, or if you want to make it one single person, that's kind of funny.
That is pretty funny.
But they would assume that woman character is the quote-unquote queen or leader of the party, and then there's a rival faction that thinks that the other woman is really the queen or the leader of the party.
Yeah.
And then, like, in reality, it's the paladin.
Yeah. Like a completely different character.
Yeah, he's like, what?
There's usually not, like, leaders of the party.
But, you know, like, there's always a de facto parent of the party.
There's always the parent character.
And it's usually the paladin. Because I have played the parent of the
It was
party.
In our last group, pretty much. One of our players was playing a paladin who pretty much mommed the rest of us. And
it always happens. When I was a part of
like she took care
the
of me
Icewind Dale campaign.
when I got too drunk to walk, so she just like draped me over her shoulder. I was the 3-foot tall tabaxi, so it was super easy.
When I was a part of the Icewind Dale campaign with your husband and his brother, I was a paladin and I was acting daddy, not daddy. Wow, that's way worse. Acting father of the group, where I'm just like, okay, let's go do this. Let's go do that. Okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
Like, I had to usher everyone.
Admittedly, with those two brothers, you have to.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
That was the campaign where in session 1, it was 2 people were wrestling after to get a chwinga, I think it was, those little sprite things, in a jar.
Interesting.
There was a PvP wrestling thing just for that.
I just know the moment I finally joined your campaign,
it got canceled.
It got canceled and fell apart. And I was just like, but I just made this really cool character I wanted to play.
As the fate of a lot of campaigns.
It's because the DM got a girlfriend.
I know. One normie. Ugh.
He's married now, by the way. Same girl.
Anyways, so I guess we'll do that. If it's a party that doesn't have more than one woman, what would be the disputing thing?
Well, that just means the other fan group goes after one of the men.
Okay.
Because, men have fans too. Women can idolize a man. Have you ever seen K-pop boy bands fans? They're terrifying. It's I remember back in the day, all the women talking about who was the hottest Backstreet Boy.
I mean, Nick, but okay.
I honestly don't remember who's who.
He was the only one I remember. Nick Carter.
He was the youngest one, right?
I can't remember.
With the hair that did the swoosh.
All their hair did swoosh.
Yeah, but his did an extra swoosh.
I just remember Nick because his younger brother Aaron was an artist as well.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron Carter.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyways, I guess we'll wrap up this episode. It's another quick one where it's just a lot of banter.
Yeah. Short,
then,
sweet, fan club, cool.
Sure. Anyways, if you put this in your campaign, how did your party react to being in the lion's den of fanatic fans? Yeah, let us know down in the comments of this YouTube video, on X at QuestBoardPod, or on Blue Sky at QuestBoard. If you have a job posting of your own that you want us to make a quest out of, let us know on any of those sites. I think with that, I wish you all a good night.
And happy questing.